All right. Giving it a second to connect. Making sure y'all can hear me. Let me pull this up on my phone. Yep, there it is. All right. Hello, everyone. And happy Tuesday. Let me turn this sound all the way down so it doesn't echo. I'm going to be watching this on my phone so that I can actually see your comments as they come through and answer them if you have any questions. And I just really like to interact with everyone while I'm live. So I'm super excited today. Quick disclaimer, I've noticed before, though, even if I'm watching on my phone, for some reason, I don't always get every single comment that comes through to be shown here. I have no idea why that is. I should probably send a formal complaint to Facebook. But if you do send something or you have a question that you're trying to get answered and I don't even acknowledge it, just send it again and hopefully it will come through the second time because it is never my intent to just simply ignore anyone. So with that out of the way, we can go ahead and get started. I mean, I hope everyone is having a really, really great Tuesday and a great start of your week. I am super excited because hopefully you've seen, I know Hannah Acosta and I went on our Instagram and Facebook stories this morning and just kind of touched on a little bit about our webinars, but we are actually doing 2 webinars this week from your social media department here at Ugly Mug. So mine today that you are watching is our first one. And if you haven't looked or noticed or figured it out, we are going to be going over graphic design for dummies. So won't go too much into detail because that's what this entire thing is about. So stay tuned. But Hannah is going live on Friday at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I'm super excited to watch hers too because she has some really interesting content. She's going to be talking about how to make Facebook Messenger make money for your company and how to automate certain things just to save you time and make your life easier because Facebook Messenger is really powerful. And we just believe that there are plenty of businesses out there that are not utilizing it to the best of their ability. So make sure you put that on your calendar. Stay tuned to our page because Hannah is going to be doing that this Friday, the 21st, 10:30 a.m. Central Time. But let's go ahead and dive into today's topic. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I always forget when I switch to a different tab, I always forget that Zoom makes you select what you're talking about. So when I switch out of this tab, hopefully, yes, okay, perfect. And let's make it big. Guys, let me know how your Tuesday's going. If you are, let's see. Is this right? Let me know if you're surviving the heat because it is like so hot. Okay, perfect. There we go. I think the high is like 95 today, which is just ungodly. But anyways, so like I've said, we're going to go over graphic design today and how to create effective imagery that is actually going to help your business be successful and make money on social media. I just want to start this off and just say, I know that graphic design in and of itself can be a really intimidating term and an intimidating topic if you feel like you aren't really in that realm or you're not well versed in the world of graphic design. And one, I want you to remember that every graphic designer that's a pro and uses Photoshop, like they can do it with their eyes closed and all of that, they start at the same place that you are now, okay? So it's not bad. It's not a bad thing to feel like you're not a pro, okay? But there are tools that can make you a pro, and it's going to be way simpler than you think. We have a tool that we love to use, which I'm going to start talking about in a second. That is not Photoshop. It's not Adobe Illustrator, which those have their place. I love using those, and I really admire people that have perfected their skills in those apps, but it's not practical for every business owner to know how to use Adobe Illustrator. So we're going to go over the tool that I love to use. It's much simpler to learn and use for your business, and I'm super excited. So just another quick introduction. If you don't know me already, my name is Lydia Murphy. I am the social media coordinator here at Ugly Mug Marketing. And I just have a few little tidbits of information about myself to share with you. Let me take a sip of water. You're going to see this water bottle probably quite a lot during this webinar, just because I have this light on me to make me look good, and it gets me kind of hot, and then I talk really fast and I feel like I can't breathe, so I have to like stop and take a sip of water. So that's going to be one of these moments. But a few things about myself. One, I'm an avid snacker because I do not have the appetite to eat really big meals. I snack a lot throughout the day. I just had like a little chocolate chip muffin like 30 minutes ago because I knew I'd probably get hungry in the span of this webinar. Oh, I see Anna Deloach just joined. Hey, Anna, thanks so much for always supporting me when I do these. It's really sweet of you. I love that you're always watching. Let me know if you have any questions while we're going through. Another thing about me is that I own too many pairs of Vans shoes. I have not counted the exact number because I don't really want to know the exact number. I know for a fact I have over like 15, maybe over 20, I don't know. But it's just my favorite brand of shoes, and I really like the way that they look and feel. So if you like wearing Vans, let me know, and we can bond over that. Another thing about me that I think is kind of interesting, I used to tell people that I was quote unquote slightly ambidextrous, which I have since researched and learned that that is not true, because ambidextrous people can use their right and their left hand equally well. So they can write perfectly well with their left and their right hand. They can throw balls with both hands. They can do whatever. I'm not that crazy, but I'm cross dominant. So I can do a lot of tasks with my right hand, and I can do a handful of tasks with my left hand. I write with my left hand. In sports, I was mostly right-handed, but in some things I was left-handed in sports as well. I'm probably talking way too much about that, but you can research it if you want. It's just a cool little fact. And then lastly, I am a type 4 on the Enneagram scale, if you know anything about that. I could talk forever about it, but I want to go ahead and jump in today. So let's just go ahead and get started. Here is what we are going to cover in this webinar today. I'm going to share with you some of my personal quick tips in creating effective images for your social media. Also, let me pause, cut in and say, if you did watch my first webinar that I did on this general topic, there are going to be some similar things that I go over, but it is not at all the same presentation. I have tons of new stuff to cover. So if you're coming through this and you're like, I think I know this, stay, because I'm going to be going over some new things, which I'm also really excited about. So yes, going to be going over some quick tips, and then also going to show you some really cool updates that have come across my favorite design tool, which we will talk about very soon. But they've released some new features and things that our team has like been loving, and I just really wanted an excuse to talk about it, which is kind of why I chose this topic to do my webinar on. So that's kind of what I'm most excited about, is to show you guys these new updates. And then lastly, I'm going to be going over some real examples of graphics that we've used for a couple of our clients here. And this is actually going to tie in to what Hannah Acosta goes over on Friday, because she's going to be going over real numbers and results from campaigns that she has used for her messenger ads. And we are going to be showing you the graphics that we used for those ads and then recreating them. I'm going to show you how exactly we create them in Canva. Oh, it slipped. I said it. Okay, whatever. And all of those things. So that's super exciting too. If at any point you have any questions, I don't think I see any yet that have come through, but if you have any at any point, just let me know. But we will also be doing a full Q&A at the end, which is just going to be a real designated time for me to go back and make sure I didn't miss any. But let's just jump into some quick tips for creating your effective images. Number one is, if you do not have specific fonts already dedicated to your business, to your brand, find your fonts. This is going to be extremely important. It also ties into one of my other points later on, talking about consistency. But as important as creative freedom and all of those things are, I know it's really fun to just like try out new fonts, and you find a new font, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing, I love it. There's a place for that, but it's so important to be consistent in the fonts you're using. And it's important too to like mix it up. So as you see on this slide here, the font I've used, it's the same font for the words tip number one, find your, and then it's the same font for the word fonts. It's just a lighter version and then a bolded version. So there are ways to work around that sort of what feels like limited creative freedom when you're working with this kind of thing. But if you find a font that has tons of different weight, then there you go. So that's my first tip. Also a quick tip, super fun if you can mix together some serif fonts and sans serif fonts. So serif fonts have the little foot at the bottom of each letter. It's more traditional looking. It's what people use for printed books. It helps your eye move along as you're reading whatever it is. And then sans serif is something like the text you see on the screen here. There's no footing at the bottom. It's a little more modern, but there are some really good combinations that are really pleasing to the eye if you can mix usage of both of those. So that's my first tip. Tip number two, color me impressed. So finding colors that represent your brand well, and also, again, staying consistent with the colors that you're using. So this might be colors that already exist in your logo, or they're colors that are similar. They're in a family with colors in your logo. Some brands will already have established color palettes that are required to use for advertising and things like that. If you have that, that's amazing. It makes life a lot simpler. But if you don't, play around, and you can go to Adobe Color. Just Google Adobe Color. It's a website that Adobe has. It's free to use. You don't have to download anything. It's like just a website. And you can create color palettes on there. I've used it before, and it's really helpful because you can choose if you want analogous colors, so colors in the same family, monochromatic. I was trying to think of these words. I'm like, I haven't taken that art class in a while. But there's lots of features on there that will help you find amazing colors, and then you can just pull those hex codes or RGB numbers and all of that when you're going to use it in your graphic design. So colors are always super important. My third tip for creating effective images is that less is more. I know that it is super tempting sometimes when you're creating a graphic for like a specific promotion or a specific product or event or whatever it is, and it can be easy to load your design with so many things, so many fonts, you want to do multiple photos, and you want to do multiple colors, and you want to do as many of the details on the graphic as you can. And the truth of it is, someone scrolls and they see that, and their brain is just overwhelmed immediately, and they don't want to process it because people are lazy. They don't want to cycle through your image and find out what the heck you're even talking about or what's the most important. So for imagery, because you can still put those tidbits of information in your post, because if the image is captivating enough, they're going to be interested and they're going to read what your post says and find out what they need to know. So it's not like the information's lost. So just try to, create a design, look at it, and then try to pull back pieces that may not be super necessary. It's fine if you literally just have a photo and a logo. Like, there is nothing wrong with that. It is totally fine to have really minimal imagery. And when you're on Facebook creating ads, Facebook actually limits you on the amount of text that you can have in an image to promote it and put money behind it. It's like you have to have 20% or less amount of text. So that in and of itself is a good enough reason to lower the amount of just clutter in your images, and just make them a lot simpler. My fourth tip is using the rule of thirds. So I realized actually I forgot to include the slide that visually explains it, but I'll try my best to verbally explain it. So if you have, you're taking a photo on your phone, and let's say you flip it so it's landscape, so it's horizontal. You can actually set it up to where you can have a grid on your camera at that time, which is just somewhere in your settings. But there's a grid on your screen. So there are 2 lines going vertically and 2 lines that are equally split going horizontally. So you have 9 sections on your screen. The rule of thirds says that you want to place the subject of your photos or even your videos at the cross points or the intersections on that grid. There is like science behind it. They've done studies. For whatever reason, our brain and our eyes are just drawn to images that use the rule of thirds. It's just more visually compelling. So Google it. It probably makes a little bit more sense. I should have included this slide that actually explained it a little bit better, and I'm very sorry I didn't. But if you've never heard of that, it's a really interesting concept to utilize. My last tip, which I mentioned a little bit before, is that consistency creates miracles. And it really ties into everything I've said before. Finding your style is hard at the beginning. Finding the photos that you like to use, finding the right colors, finding your fonts, all of those things. I know it can be difficult, but once you nail it down, make sure you're consistent with it, because it's going to build up your brand identity and your brand awareness. And someone can be scrolling and they'll see your imagery and automatically know it's from you. So that's kind of the biggest tip, I think, making sure you're staying consistent with the imagery that you're producing. So those are my quick tips. Now we're going to dive in to the tool that I like to use when creating imagery and even some video content for my clients, and it is on canva.com. So Canva is a really, I think, a very user-friendly application. It's a website. You can also download, they have an app. Also, this is not like sponsored or whatever by Canva. I'm just a big fan. So they get some free advertising today. I see Courtney just jumped on. Thanks to Courtney for watching my webinar today. Let me know if you have any questions. And Courtney actually just started using Canva a lot. If you go to Lemoyne Productions, shameless plug for them, she's doing really awesome creating some images for them and kind of like revamping their social media. It's been really cool for me to watch her do that because she's doing an awesome job. But anyways, yes, Canva, there is a free version of Canva, which still has plenty of amazing assets that you can use and create images on. But they also have a paid version, which is their Canva Pro, and that is only $13 a month. And once I start diving into this, I feel like I'm going to convince you that $13 a month for this is really not bad at all. So that is the tool I use. If you've never heard of it, now you know, and we're going to actually get into the application and the website and use it, and it's going to be fun. But I did want to quickly plug, if you want to win 3 months free of Canva Pro, which is valued at $39, quick math in my head, I have a few questions that I want to pose to everyone watching. And I'm going to refresh on my phone to make sure that my phone is like keeping up with everything and I'm not missing any comments. See, I knew I was because it didn't show any comments and I knew there were. Okay, I see some people were saying hello and I did not acknowledge them. I'm so sorry. Thank you, JS Social Agency. Thank you for watching. I don't think I've heard of you guys, but I'll have to check out your page. Hello, Bonnie. Hello, Cindy. I know I said hey to Anna. Would love to see some real estate clients that you've created. Jenna, I may not do that just on this webinar, but I would be glad to send you some of those after this is done. of some images that we've done for our real estate clients. I didn't plan on showing that today, so I don't want to stray too far off of my original examples, but I will definitely send you some of those in a little bit in this afternoon. But okay, guys, I have some questions. Even if you don't want to win the Canva Pro, I still want you to answer these because I just like to learn about people. And I think that we're like, the fact that we're all so different is just hilarious to me. So there are a few questions I'm posing. Answer any of them, answer all of them. One, what's your least favorite color? So the color that like you're just not about, you don't care about it. It's like if you see it on a shirt, you're like, no, can't buy it. Mine is orange, I think, probably. I don't see much appeal in the color orange, and I don't really know why, but I don't really like it that much. The other question is kind of two questions that are related, but one would be, how many pairs of shoes do you think you own? Because earlier I was talking about mine. I'm pretty sure I own like over 30 pairs of shoes. So how many pairs of shoes? If you know the exact amount, I'd love to know, but also just give me a ballpark. But also like, let me know what kind of shoes you're wearing today, because I feel like that says a lot about a person. I was wearing some like chunky heels. I took them off because my foot hurt. But I was wearing some chunky heels because I wanted to be cute, and then it gave me a blister and I regretted it. So anyways, let me know any and all of the answers to that question. I don't know why this app is not like loading the comments as they come in. I'm having to like refresh it. But Jenna hates the color yellow. Yellow is probably my second one. I don't really hate it, but I'm not appealed by it, or like, I don't know. It's not very like attractive to me. Courtney says she's not an orange person. Anne's not an orange person. Okay, good. Jenna has 22 pairs of shoes. See, I thought most people were gonna have me beat on the shoes, but Jenna only has 22, and I'm pretty sure I have like 35. So that's kind of sad. But let me see. Liz probably has around 50 pairs of shoes. Okay, good. I'm glad someone has more pairs of shoes than me, because I was starting to get embarrassed. Courtney says, in case my husband sees this, I'm gonna say 10 pairs of shoes. Spencer will never watch this, it's fine. Anne says 15 shoes and she's wearing sandals today. I would probably be wearing sandals if I wasn't like trying to dress up. Cindy does not like the color red. She probably has 25 shoes and she's wearing black sandals. I love it. Guys, keep it coming. We're just learning a lot about each other. Listen, don't tell my husband. We won't, girl, it's okay. I'm actually gonna reload this because I have to like get out of the live video every time I want to read the comments. It's just really annoying. Okay, what did Anna say? Let's see. Anna hates the color red or pink. That's like really surprising to me. Oh yeah, you're right. It's not the best for redheads. Okay. And she has probably 40 to 50 pairs of shoes. I could see that too, Anna. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna probably pose that question a few times throughout, just in case some people jump on a little later. But I was just curious. I like to learn. I feel like a lot of those things tell us things about our personality. And I was just curious. So all of you people commenting, you're going to be entered to win 3 months of Canva Pro for free, but we will decide who that is after the webinar, and I'll message you. But thanks so much, guys, for for commenting there. All right, now we're going to actually dive in. So I'm going to exit out of this presentation, which we'll actually come back to in a second. But now I need to share this. Okay, where am I? Okay, so I have a handful of things that I want to go over as far as updates to Canva that have been made within the last like month, maybe 2 months. I don't know if they've released them prior to when they came to us, but I've noticed them within the last few weeks. So I'm super excited to talk about those. The first one, which is right here on our homepage, is this content planner. All right. I am like kind of amazed at this, and I actually haven't played around with it enough. But Canva, I don't know why I never thought that they should do this. They've set up to where you can create your designs and your images in Canva and then just immediately schedule them onto your Facebook page. Like, and you can put the caption and everything. I'm like, that's amazing. So it's pretty self-explanatory. I kind of earlier was just walking through it to see how easy it was, but I didn't like fully schedule anything myself. So basically what you do is like you just choose the day you want to schedule it. You do already have to have your graphic like done before you can schedule it, obviously, but you just click the plus. You can, oh wait, I lied. Whoops. You can create a design, and then I'm sure once you're done, you can like schedule it right there. But if you already had it done, oh, Courtney said game changer. Courtney, have you used this? I'd be curious to know, because I haven't personally used it. Because for us, it's a little different. We have to create our images, and then we usually send it to the client. They have to approve it and all of that. So we can't just schedule it right away. But I feel like for y'all, this is so helpful and like eliminates a step, saves you time. I think it's amazing. So you would choose a design here. So like we're gonna be in this little section in a minute when I'm remaking some graphics. So you have your photo. You can have multiple designs in one like section. So you can see here, there's 2 designs under this specific project, but you can select which one you want. So this one here's page 1. You choose what platform you want it on. So you can see, you can post to a Facebook page, a Facebook group, Twitter, Slack, Tumblr, Pinterest, and then LinkedIn. So it's a little frustrating, I think, that you can't do Instagram, which I'm sure they're gonna figure it out and add that soon. But sorry, I'm just trying to refresh this again to make sure. But Facebook's a big one, so I think that's probably the one that most people would use anyways. But you just like select it. We haven't actually connected our Facebook to it because I think this is on Wayne's account, so he would have to log into his personal one. But yeah, you would just log in and then you like choose your day and time, and then there it is. How freaking cool is that? So that's the first little update / new feature that I just wanted to talk about. I think Courtney might have used it before, so that's cool. But the cool thing too is, I mean, we schedule posts for our clients, like in bulk, kind of. We do it for the month, but it's like we're having to download it on Canva, and then go into Facebook, copy and paste all of the copy and put it into Facebook, and then schedule it on Facebook. So I feel like it just saves you a step, and you don't have to exit Canva once you've finished your graphic, and then super cool. Okay, that's the first one. The next one might actually be my favorite change that has been made, and it is text effects. So I don't remember. I'm trying to remember. I think it was right before I created my slideshow for my webinar that I did before this about Instagram marketing. And I was going in Canva to create all of the slides, and I saw this thing when I clicked on my text box, which I'll show you. I was making something and it said effects. And I'm like, I've never seen that before. And I'm interested, I'm intrigued. So I click it. Y'all, I feel like this whole webinar is just gonna be me like awkwardly nerding out about Canva. And I'm sure no one is actually that interested, but I just have to get it off my chest. So this is what this text box would look like if I did not have my text effects on it. So let's just dive into all of these. This is what I have it on. I have it on Splice, which you get to choose the color that you want the like background color to be, the main color. I had it as our ugly mug orange. Excuse me. So that's the effect I used for all of these text boxes. You can see it's actually one of my favorites. I've used it a handful of times for some clients already. Oh, I got a tickle. But as you can see, there are like a handful more. So you can also do shadow. And again, you can change the color of your shadow to whatever you want. I hope you can kind of tell it's changing on there. Reload this again. Okay, we're good. And so that's shadow. You can also, if you want to change the actual color of like how this is white, you would just change the main text color. But that's the first one. Then you have lift, which is similar, but it's a little more dramatic, I think, of a shadow. Makes it a little bit more 3D looking. This is another cool one. What is going on with me? It's like, this never happens. This is the worst time for this to happen, when I like have to cough a lot. But that one's pretty cool. And the cool thing about all of these is that you can adjust all of these settings so it can like be really deep shadow. You can move it if you want it to go around. Like, Canva, we don't deserve this. Okay, this other one, hollow. I think Hannah Acosta's used that a few times. I think that one's also pretty cool. So it's just like the outline of the text. And then what else? Splice, like I already said. Echo, which is just like a whole bunch. Let me zoom in. You see like, there's like a whole bunch of little layers, which I think that one's pretty cool too. And again, you can change the color, you can change the direction, you can change how deep it is, all of that. Another cool one is glitch, which actually makes it like look kind of 3D. So I can adjust like how much you can actually tell, but y'all see how it's like that pink and blue. And you can even change it to like red and blue, but that one's pretty cool. I feel like that one would be a good one for Wayback's Arcade. I think Jeremy watches some of these. So if he's watching, I think that would be a cool one for y'all to use, because it just reminds me of like that techie type situation. But the last one is just neon. So you just adjust the color of your word and it just makes it that cool neon color. So those are the text box effects. I'm going to go ahead and just switch it back for my own sanity to what I had it as before. Oh wait, no, I switched it. I guess it was white. See guys, we're just troubleshooting today. There we go. Cindy says, is this using the... So I'm actually not positive. My assumption, okay, yes, I am on the pro version. We use pro here at Ugly Mug. We all share one giant account. And I'm not positive if it is available on the regular one. I mean, if anything, like you can just go to Canva and just try to make something and see. I don't want to do it just right here because I'm not sure if it'll log me out of all this other stuff. But my assumption says it would only be the pro version, but I don't know. I could be wrong. It could be available for these like text box things to be on the other one as well, the free version. But this is Canva Pro that I'm on right now, Cindy. Okay, so those were two changes. Another one, which I think I have it. Oh, I thought I had one pulled up, but actually we're just gonna duplicate this. So I talked about this in my last webinar, how you can animate your graphics and it like turns them into a video and it makes them move around all real cool. Like I'll show you some of these. Ooh. Ah. So if you didn't already know that, there's a new tool for you to use. It turns it into an MP4 file and you can upload it. But when you upload it on Facebook, it auto plays. So if someone was scrolling, as soon as it hits their screen, it does that movement. But the new thing I wanted to talk about is that when you use these, or even when you use their stock video, you have this new option to adjust the timing, which I thought was interesting because I remember the first time they released animations. Oh, Anne said, I believe it's available for free. Okay, that would be really cool if it was. I need to check on that. And once after I get off this webinar, I'll check on that and I'll let you guys know for sure. But I think it's super cool that you can adjust how long it is. I did this with the ad that I created for my Instagram story for this webinar, which was just this, but in a different dimensions. I animated it, and then I adjusted the timing because it auto sets to like 5 seconds. And I knew if it was going to be an Instagram stories, I wanted it to be a little bit longer. Obviously, I know people can skip through it, but I don't remember. I think I changed it to like 7 or 8 seconds. But I just think that's interesting if you want, you know, your video to be a little bit longer. I know animations, like it only happens at the very beginning of the video, but if you're using stock video, like if I literally just grab one of these, whatever this aerial shot is of whatever this bridge is, I'm not cultured enough to know. I'm trying to make it big. Okay, good enough. So you see, we can crop the actual part of the video that we want to use. I need to move my face on here. So you can adjust if you only want like the first 8 seconds. I'm pretty sure that's a new feature because I've used stock video before and wished that I could trim it because I would have to like pull it out, do it in iMovie, and then put it back in here. So that's a cool new feature that they've released. And if you're not using stock video, at least look in here, like search for something that you would need. You might be surprised. They don't have as robust of a stock video library as they do photo, but it's still really useful. Video is amazing for social media, and if you can implement it at least a few times a month in your strategy, then that's great. So that was my third one, the adjusting the timing on all of that. The last one is that they have license-free music. So if you want your video to have some music on it, then you just like select one. You can see the song like jumped on here. But if you click it, you can select the total like section that you want and all of that, which I just think is really cool. Oh, can y'all hear that? It just started playing. I have no idea if y'all actually heard that. It's kind of loud. But the music, I think, is just a really cool tool that they give us, again, for no reason but our own amazement. So those were the 4 little updates that I wanted to go over. Let me know what you think your favorite would be if you were using it. I definitely love text boxes and those effects. Like every time I'm creating a graphic now, I'm like, ooh, can I use one of these? So that's always fun. So that's kind of it for that little middle section. I'll post the question again. I don't know if we have any new viewers, but earlier I was asking everyone, if you want to win 3 months free of Canva Pro, we'll pay for it for you. But you have to answer one or all, whatever you want, of these questions. First one is, what's your least favorite color? Second one would be, what type of shoes are you wearing today? And then 3, if you know the strict number, you can comment that, but how many shoes or how many pairs of shoes do you own total? I own like 30, 35, something like that. We have a wide range of viewers today with different numbers. We have some in the 50s, we have some in the 20s, so you'll be welcome no matter what. But let me know one of those answers, and you could possibly win 3 months of Canva Pro. So this last little section I want to go through is actually recreating some real life examples of graphics we've used for our clients. So like I said before, but you might just be tuning in, I'll explain. These graphics are going to kind of coincide with Hannah Acosta's content that she'll be presenting on Friday for her webinar. She's going to be talking about messenger ads, how to use Facebook Messenger to make money for your business, and how to automate a bunch of amazing things to make your life simpler, and how to work smarter and not harder. So I'm actually going to show you some of the graphics that she used for campaigns and that she will show you actual results from and how they did. So as you can see right here, the first one is a graphic that we used for Honey and Dew. They are they do like spa treatments and stuff like that. So this was promoting their hydrofacial service, and just trying to drive people to send a message to the page if they had questions, or if they wanted to schedule an appointment, they can, Hannah had it all automated in the back end. But today we're just going to focus on these actual graphics. So we're just going to, so this is what it looks like in the end. I'm going to copy it and get rid of all of this stuff. I'll leave the photo because that's a lot of work to figure out. But okay, so this little color bar at the bottom is actually just the background of the graphic. The photo stops right here. So we're just going to try to recreate this, and I'm just going to kind of talk through maybe why, because Hannah created this graphic initially. I'm just going to kind of talk through why she probably made a few of the decisions that she made, because I could have made a graphic for the same purpose and everyone's is going to be different. So let's just go ahead and start with the logo. So I've talked about this too, but Canva is also really cool because you can connect it to your Google Drive. If you have a lot of assets in Google Drive, you can connect it and then you can just upload straight from there instead of having to like download something from Google Drive and then upload it into Canva. So I'm sure she went to Google Drive here in the More section and then searched for the Honey and Do logo. But to save some time, I'm just gonna Control C or Command C because I'm on a laptop from Apple. Gonna copy it, gonna go down into this design and paste it. And it's kind of cheating for my purposes because when you copy and paste something in Canva, it puts it in the exact same spot and obviously in the exact same size. But it does help if you're trying to create similar images and all of that for different things. I mean, I can move it around if I want, but we're just gonna stick it right back around where it was. So just to touch on that, talking about logos in your imagery. There are different opinions, I'm sure. My personal opinion is that if you can include a logo in your graphic and it does not take away from anything else, it's not too jarring or distracting, or it just doesn't fit the overall mood or message. I think including your logo, if it doesn't do any of those things, is important because it's gonna be that much more helpful in your brand awareness, and people will automatically know, obviously, if they see the logo, what the content is or who the content's from and all of that. So I do like the way that Hannah incorporated the logo in this graphic. And she's done really well because the fonts that are used in the logo, she's not using those fonts, but the ones she chooses pair really well with that font. So it's like, it's a family, you know, it's like it merges together into one design and it's not jarring to the eye, like I said earlier. So she doesn't have a whole lot of text or things like that on the graphic. She does have this little thing at the bottom that is a call to action. So telling people to message the page for details and if they would like to schedule an appointment, which is great because if you can include your call to action on an image, and like I said earlier with the logo, if it doesn't just like ruin it, then it's just another spot to give people that chance to see your call to action and to resonate with it. And I think she did a great job here of being really clear about what is going to come after you actually do message the page. Like, why do I need to message the page? Well, you can learn more about the hydrofacial and you can even schedule your appointment. So that's a really great job there. Instead of just copying and pasting, we're just gonna create a text box. So I usually just go to text and then I click one of these boxes. It doesn't really matter because I'm gonna change almost everything about it from the font to the size and all of that. But I'm going to type whatever she had. Message me, which I actually do think she used this font. That's the first one that we have it defaulted to, which is actually the font that Airbnb uses, but I really like it. So she has it as white, size 25. We'll make it white, and then we're just going to stretch this out. So I hope if you guys don't use Canva and you're watching this, you can kind of tell. I feel like Canva is pretty user-friendly. Like the tools that you're using, like text boxes and fonts and all of that, I feel like they lay it out in a way that's really simple and easy to understand. And it might take you a little bit longer if you've never done it and you're jumping in, like compared to me just coming on here and clicking around and there it is. But the more you do it, obviously the more comfortable you're going to be. But it's a really great tool. If you don't use it, I would challenge you to use it. So I'm just going to try to center this if I can. Okay, so there we go. That's how Hannah did that. She added a text box and then made it a certain size and color and all of that goodness. So let me see. I'm trying to pull up this, make sure. Okay, we're good. Lastly, we need to add this text, and then she actually has this little, you'll see this little shape, this little rectangle, which is separate from the text. So we're gonna do that last. So we're gonna add another text box and type out hydrofacial. Let's see, the color she used is gonna be in this document colors because she's used it and Canva will like save what other colors you've used in the document already, which is super helpful. So looks like she used a little bit of this darker one. Let's see. And then I'm gonna see what size it is. She has 43. I'm sure when she's creating it, she's not like, oh, I need it to be size 43 font, but I'm just doing it for the sake of like recreating it. I need to know. Okay. Looks like she has it pretty close. I'm trying to get the spacing right, which I know is probably not the most important, but okay, it looks like the, I had my logo in the wrong spot. Okay, then they have this. Another quick thing, you'll see like this little part of the Y on the logo comes in front of this hydrofacial text box. All you do is select whichever one you want to put before or in front of or behind. So I have hydrofacial selected, I select position, and then I just hit backward. And it will, if there's something on top of it, it just puts it behind that layer. Okay, so we have all of that. The last thing we have to do is this little square, little blurb behind it, which really just helps the text stand out and kind of just like ties it all together. So all we do, go to elements, can go to shapes. And the cool thing is when you grab a square, you can like adjust it into any size and any shape that you really want of a rectangle. So she has hers pretty small. Just gonna create it there, and then I'll change the color of it right there. And then if I can grab it, she has it a little offset. See how it's like not right in line with the bottom of the text. It's a little below it, but it goes all the way to the edge. So mine's in front of it. So I'm just going to position backward. Nice. I think that looks pretty good as far as a recreation goes. So that is kind of the first walkthrough example of a real life graphic we have created for a client. And make sure you tune in Friday for Hannah, and she'll actually show you how this campaign went. Spoiler alert, it did very well. But that is one of them. The next one I want to recreate, which is kind of a little bit simpler, but it's this graphic for glass tint, etc. You can see, again, it's a call to action to message the page because I wanted to recreate these graphics that Hannah is going to be referencing in her webinar on Friday. So I'm just going to, again, add a new page. And for sake of time and ease, I'm just going to copy this image and paste it. So this is what we're starting with. Looks like Hannah has her logo in the top right corner. And I like it because, as I said before, it's not super jarring. to the image. It doesn't really distract you a whole lot, but it just gives that another sense of an opportunity for brand awareness and all of those things. So again, let's just copy and paste that. If you were just like uploading it, you can adjust the size, adjust wherever you want it, but I don't want to sit here for 30 hours. That's probably about the same size, maybe a little bigger. Okay, so now let's get this party started with some text boxes. What does she say? Message us for a, okay, and I have to see what font she used because I'm not sure. So she's using Open Sans. So like I said also before, sans serif. It's a sans serif font. I'm gonna search for it, even though it'll be in the recently used. She got the light. Okay, and it was white. Look at us go. We're just gonna see what size, 53. We'll just make it 53 even. Move that somewhere, and then let's make this other one. We're gonna make a new text box since this is gonna be a different actual font. So custom, end quote. So as you can see, all of this is lowercase. If you want your entire text box to be uppercase, just hit this little thingy, and there it is. So this is Open Sans Extra Bold. There we go. And then she has it on 2 different lines. Okay, so I'm just gonna squish it so that it puts these texts or these words on the bottom line, and then I want to align it to the left. So I just hit alignment and it automatically cycles through and it will go to left alignment, which is what I want. Okay, and then the other thing I'm noticing, as you can see, which I guess I should make this bigger. If I were to make my text as large as Hannah's is, okay, 76 font. Okay, like why is it not the same? Can anyone tell? Well, I'll tell you. The line spacing here is defaulted to whatever this is, and Hannah has shortened her line spacing. So to do that, we're gonna jump into we're just gonna select the box and hit this little thing that has the 3 lines with the arrows, which you can actually affect your line height, but also your letter. So I'll show you. If I did letter, it's gonna squish them together, or I can spread them apart. So that's cool, but that is probably defaulted to 0, but our line height, we want it to be shorter. So we're just gonna do that. And there we go. So now I'm just gonna try to space these best that I can. Similarly to hers. Same thing that we did up here with this little box, we're gonna do to put a box behind the words messages for A. So we're gonna grab a square. And then I'm sure it's gonna be one of these colors, yeah. And just, let me pick it up. And let's see here. Okay, you see all these pink lines? Those are my guidelines. All right. Well, looky there. So that is how we would have created this graphic for this client. Let me go ahead and refresh this so I'm not missing anything. Perfect. Okay, so that was sort of an abbreviated version. Look, let's just theoretically, if we wanted to put an effect on our text box. Obviously, these were the colors we used for Honey and Dew. I'm just like playing around with it because I think it's so fun. But it's like Hannah did this graphic before these were out. But I just think these text box effects are like the coolest thing since sliced bread. So anyways, all right, guys, that is how we created those specific graphics for our real life clients. And let me see. I'm actually going to share back. Let's go back to my presentation. And we're going to have some time now for a Q&A. So we talked about some quick tips for people trying to create effective imagery. I'm going to actually pick up my phone now. We went through our 5 quick tips, which were finding your fonts, finding your colors, less is more. So making sure you're not cluttered in your design, using the rule of thirds was the 4th one, and then making sure you're consistent because consistency creates miracles. So those were the 5 tips, and then we walked through all of those cool updates for Canva, which was the cool new content planner, so you can schedule your posts from Canva to schedule onto your Facebook page or your LinkedIn or your Twitter. Then we also talked about adjusting the timing of your videos, your stock videos or your animations. And then we looked at some music as well that Canva gives to us. And then we just walked through those client examples. So I've like had half of this entire bottle because I get to talking and then it's like, oh, I'm thirsty. If you have any questions, please, please, please let me know. It can be graphic design related, Canva related, color related. We can talk about your shoes again, whatever you want. Just let me know if you have any questions. I'm like looking down at my phone, by the way, just to make sure, see if I see them, which I'm super frustrated with my actual Facebook app because it's like not being good about updating the comments as they come through. So I'm having to check it a lot, but I don't think I see any coming in right now. I'll give it a little bit more time. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined me so far today. I hope that you're having a really great Tuesday, staying indoors, staying not outside in the heat. We're having a pretty busy day here in the office. We have a photo shoot going on in our conference room for another client, and we've just had a lot of meetings today, but I was super excited to do this webinar just because, like I said, I really wanted to like geek out on all of these Canva updates. So if we don't have any questions right now, if you are watching this not live and you're watching this later on, please feel free to comment and let me know any of your questions, and I will get back to those as soon as I can. For all of you who are sharing with me your amazing shoes and how many shoes you have and what your least favorite color is, I'll give one more chance to anyone who has not had the opportunity. But if you want to tell me your least favorite color or how many shoes you own, then you might win 3 months of Canva Pro for free from us, which is cool. Let me see. I'm like so stressed that I'm going to miss a comment because my phone is being crazy. Did we get one? Is it possible to create your own graphic elements within Canva, like the icons they provide? So I assume, Anne, that you mean, let me actually jump back over to Canva 1 second. So I'm assuming you mean how they have under the elements tab, like they have all of these, okay, look, like I'll just look up the shoe. They have all these really cool graphic elements. Do you mean, can you create your own in Canva? If that's what you mean, I'm not positive exactly how you would do that. I know, like, so I'm in a group on Facebook, which I only joined like this week, or not this week, maybe last week. But it's called Canva Design Circle, and it's just like thousands of people who use Canva, and then they like share their tips and stuff. It's really cool, but I've seen people that do, like, I swear their projects on there probably take them hours just because they're adding so many different elements that I believe they already like had photos of and that type of thing, and they're like removing the background on them. But as far as I know, there's no real way to like create one of these of your own unless you like somehow just used a bunch of shapes to create something and like change the color and all of that. But they do have a pretty robust library of those elements. I feel like usually, like not 100% of the time, but I would say like at least 90% of the time that I'm searching for a little graphic element like that, I can always find something. So I do think that's a benefit of Canva too, is they have a lot of those really cool design elements in there for anyone to use. Great question though. I hope that was at least a decent answer. Do we have any other questions? Let me see. I want to actually go back and make sure I didn't miss any. Don't think so. Like I said, guys, let me know if you have any questions if you're watching this later, and I will definitely get back to you on it. But as far as content, that is really all I had. So if you have any Canva related questions that maybe you didn't want to comment here, or you just want to know a little bit more about the website and how we use it at Ugly Mug, please feel free to email me. My email is lydia@uglymugmarketing.com. And thank you so much to everyone who joined me today. And I hope you have a great, great rest of your week. And don't forget, Hannah Acosta will be going live Friday, same place on our Facebook page at 10:30 a.m. She'll be going over Facebook Messenger ads and how you can use those to make money for your business and how to automate them to make your life a lot easier. So this is the conclusion of our first social media graphic design webinar of the week. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. And yeah, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See ya.